everyone. Welcome to another episode of Concert Stories with Kiff and Giggles. Got my Giggles with me here. What's up, Giggles?
How's it going?
It's like, how's it going?
I know.
Hey, Giggles, I have to tell you, it's episode 3. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I did not tell you this yet, but I'm going to say it right now. But we had a listener from Germany the other day.
Wow.
I know. So, hey,
God's
Germany.
toll.
Say it again. Say it again.
I said God's toll.
So just for all of you out there, Giggles speaks German here and there. So
Yes.
it's her ancestry as it is mine, but I'm 50% German. So
Well,
I think
technically, I'm 50. Wouldn't that be 50%?
I'm not sure. Are you 50 or 75%?
I don't know if my dad's side had it or not, but my
I know your
mom's actually
grandma.
from Germany, and my grandma's from Germany. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and your grandma was like in the war and everything.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about that another time, maybe, for family stories. So, anyway, moving on.
Yes.
She's a proud Michigander. All right. So, this episode, it is continuation of the weekend of our just crazy spree through Florida in 2013, where we did Busch Gardens, Universal Studios, Walt Disney World. We saw Imagine Dragons' Atlas Genius. And we saw at Busch Gardens, which was like 2 birds with 1 stone, right?
Yeah.
Barenaked Ladies. Applause, applause, applause.
I don't think they had anybody opening for them, did they? I think it was just them.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think it was, okay, I think I'm going to just get this wrong. Bands, brews, and barbecues?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
I want to say it was like BB, like bands, brew. So anyway, there was barbecue, like little huts with barbecue and baked beans and all that. And there was the bands. And then there was stuff we don't partake in, the brews. So this was a good concert. One of probably we've tried calculating how many times I've been to a B&L show. And of course, for those of you that may not know Barenaked Ladies, we'll just say B&L for short. I calculate that I estimate and guesstimate, I don't know, upwards of 50 to 60 shows for them. I can't even begin. I mean, if I really wanted to and sat down and thought about it, I could get an estimate. But I know you've been to over 10 at least. I've drug you to.
No, I think so. Something like that. And then when I went by myself in Michigan.
I know, because I convinced her to go. I said, you need to go see them at Pine Knob.
Yes, at Pine Knob.
Oh, yes. So for those of you that know me personally, and of course, Nicole's had to hear this for over like almost 12, 15 years almost now. I'm a huge Barenaked Ladies fan. So this one's going to be very fun for me. It's going to be even funner. Is that a word, funner? I don't know. It's going to be even cooler to talk because we both were at this show. So a couple of cool things happened at this show. And cool things happen every time I go to a B&L show. But we're just going to go ahead and start in with the day. We had started our morning, and once I say this to Giggles, I think she's going to remember this. We had started our morning at the Boardwalk Resort at Walt Disney World. And do you remember that room?
Yeah, I do. It was right next to the elevator.
Yes. I took notes about this because it was right next to an elevator okay, so we had gotten in late. Obviously, I think we had gone, God only knows at that time. We probably went to Universal Studios or something. And, back then we partied a little harder than usual, which when I say party hard, we stayed up later than usual. So I remember checking into the boardwalk, which for those of you that are not familiar, it's on the Walt Disney World Resort property. It's real close to Epcot Center. And it is like on a boardwalk, obviously. Hello, it's on a boardwalk. But for some reason, they put us right next to this room that had the elevator cables above our heads. And all night long, we heard, I can't even do the sound. I couldn't really.
It was awful.
Yeah, I remember you said, I did not sleep. I remember that. I woke up, I had half slept. I kind of like was in and out of sleep, like twilight sleep. Anyway, and I remember getting ready and I remember going, oh, I am tired. But I was like, I'm ready to go see Barenaked Ladies, but I'm tired. So anyway, we went to Tampa, which is about, oh gosh.
Well, wait a minute. Now, that wasn't the only hotel experience we had.
Oh, that weekend?
Yeah, because we went to Animal Kingdom, and remember when we got there, my room didn't have a coffee maker.
That was Saratoga Springs.
Oh, I thought it was Animal
That
Kingdom.
was so funny because I actually remembered that when we were talking about Atlas Genius and Imagine Dragons. No, wasn't there something about you had the coffee maker and they said you broke it or it was broken?
No, they want to know if I had one in there, and they were going to bring me one or something because I think the people before us had stolen it.
That is right. I remember you were like, I hope they don't think I stole that.
Yeah, I know. And here I am in the shower in the house. The lady that comes and cleans, she's like banging on the door. Like, good Lord, I'm in the shower. Chill out. It's just a coffee maker.
I remember this now. You were so right. I remember talking, but so we had stayed. Oh my God, we seriously hotel hopped because I think when we came in for the night that one morning, we stayed like across the road from SeaWorld. Then we stayed at Saratoga Springs. We must not have been able to get a lot of hotels. We had to like break up our trip, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know if it was because of the timing or I forgot what the deal was.
So yeah, gee, thanks a lot, Disney. We went from having no coffee maker and you saying Nicole stole it. No, I'm just joking. And then we go to freaking Boardwalk, and Boardwalk's like, I can't even do the sound. If you've ever heard that sound of an elevator going up and down real close to inside of a building, it's that cable pulling sound. It's like,
yes, it was awful.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so let's just say we went to Tampa. Let's back to the story, right? But yes. I hadn't thought about that coffee maker. That's so funny. Because I remember you're like, oh, I hope they don't think I stole it. All right. So back to the trip. So we made the trip to Tampa, and I think Daniel had slept because my husband, of course, drove us. And I think he had slept pretty well because, we made it pretty good time. I remember going in, getting all excited because not only were we going to see one of my favorite bands, but we were going to see a bunch of animals too.
Yeah.
So that was cool. And one of the highlights that I had looked through my pictures, do you remember standing underneath a tiger?
No, not really.
You were too tired.
I don't remember that. I remember I got a picture of the tiger yawning. He was up on top of the little enclosure thing, and he had fallen asleep and woke up, and all of a sudden he yawned, and I was like, oh boy, I can get a picture of that.
You know what? You probably yawned after that because we're so tired.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, but yes, I will show. We will put some pictures in here. I have some pictures of the belly of a tiger because I remember they had like a cavern, and you went down.
I do remember that part, but I don't remember walking under the tiger. Okay.
Maybe we left you somewhere.
I don't know. God knows.
We said, hurry up, get out in line, Nicole. So yes. So speaking of lines, getting to the concert, because a lot of people are like, okay, talk about the concert now, people, your concert stories.
Yes.
We ended up getting in line, and I think we had the ability to get to the front of the line because of some kind of pass. I can't tell you what exactly it was, but I remember we bought a special like VIP access pass or something for this concert.
Yeah, I think there was something.
But I remember we could get, but I think that it was a free for all.
Yeah, because I don't remember having actual seat numbers.
Right. I think it was a free for all, and I think it was you get in line early, you get up to the front.
Yeah.
So I remember pretty much early in the morning, I think we started, we may have taken turns in line.
Yeah, we did.
So that's what we did. Yeah. And so we probably put Daniel in line and just walked around without him.
Well, I think when we first got there, I think we kind of wandered around a little bit. And then, because I remember we got there early in the morning. It was like 8, 9, something like that in the morning.
Yeah.
And they didn't go on until like 3 or so.
Yeah, it was like going into the nighttime, but that's of course in February. So it would have been February 2013. But anyway, so here's the thing about getting in a line for any show. Number one, you have to have a plan.
Yes.
Number two, you have to know where your clear. Yeah. Let me try that again. Blah. You need to know where your bathroom is, just to make sure you can go and do that. And you need to make sure you know where food is.
You need to
So,
have an exit plan.
oh yes, you need to have you need to have buddies in line.
Yes, your exit buddy. Speaking of Disney.
Yes, you need to have.
You have your exit buddy.
Yes, yes. Please find your. You know what else I remembered? And people forgive us. We're kind of all over the place today, but this is the same weekend. Something we didn't talk about at Universal Studios, and this has nothing to do with this concert, but I've seen Barenaked Ladies at Universal Studios, so let's just relate it to that. So, do you remember when you looked up at that one roller coaster and you're walking across? Nicole had looked at Rip Ride Rocket roller coaster at Universal, and she was so enthralled with it, she fell down. I remember picking you up.
Well, it wasn't technically all my fault. It was that crosshatch, like cement/grass situation they had.
Yes.
I was on sidewalk and I hit grass.
Poor Nicole. She, we throw her in cars. She falls down. We have to pick her up. Poor thing. I fall down too. I mean, I'm not. You're not alone in that. But then we don't. You don't have any sleep. Somebody says you stole a coffee maker. You poor thing.
Then you try getting out of a ride at Space Mountain, and you have people laughing at you. You remember that one?
That's another memory. I just remember that was what a weekend, people. I'm telling you, this was the weekend. Yeah, because we couldn't, because we're not skinny. I'm not gonna say we're, And I just remember, like, I can't get out of this ride, and I've always had trouble with Space Mountain just because the capsule ride.
Yeah.
And I remember these particular gentlemen who are very thin, were standing out there pointing and laughing at us. And I'm like, excuse me, and we're laughing too, of course. But I did remember that. Yeah, thank you for that memory too. So back to the concert. Okay, so anywho, oh gosh, what a weekend. All right, so back to Barenaked Ladies. So here's the thing about, being in the BNL fandom. I've been in the BNL fandom, like really active in it, probably since the mid 2000s. And the thing that people have a hard time believing is that I've been a fan since before 1 week. So I've been a fan of Barenaked Ladies. Probably, I always say the name of the album wrong because I'm an American. It's Rock Spectac. I always say Rock Spectacle. But yeah, it was their live album back in the mid 90s that they had put out. And anyway, that's how I was introduced to BNL. So I apologize to all the BNL fans out there. I am so sorry. I said the name of the album incorrectly. But anyway, there was just so much great stuff on there with the live show and just being recorded. And, I just really got into them because of all that. And I actually did not meet other BNL fans until pretty much like the mid 200s. There's the math again. The mid 200s. The mid 2000s. And for me, it was really cool because I met a particular friend. I don't know if she wants me to mention her name. And she was from North Carolina as well. And it's like she led me to the path of, here are all these other people that like BNL just as much as us. So anytime I'm in line for a show at a BNL show, it doesn't matter if I'm in Canada, it doesn't matter if I'm in California, Florida, Northeast, wherever, I'm pretty much going to know some of the people in the front of the line. And I hope she doesn't mind. Well, maybe we just won't say her name, but there was a particular fan that goes to a ton of shows that was at this particular Busch Gardens show. So a lot of her videos and things we can link below or link for you all. She has a lot of recordings from this show. So if you want to relive the show with us, you can do that. But yeah, we had to get some pictures with her because I saw, I'm like, oh yeah, she was at that show. So anyway, so getting into the concert, we saw some animals. Excuse me. We didn't ride that much. I think we rode the safari ride. Didn't ride too much.
Yeah.
And we got something to eat. We saw some kangaroos, saw some giraffes, saw some rhinoceroses.
I don't think the cheetahs were out. I missed those.
They're probably sleeping.
Probably.
Nicole
They're
was
like,
curled
no.
up with them in their cage sleeping because of all the noise the night before.
Well, I think we went on that tram too. That kind of was like the fast route back. Instead of walking
Probably.
all the way around, we went
Oh
on
yeah.
that
Oh
time.
yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. You're right. They had like a kind of a monorail type thing.
Yeah, and it kind of went through all the
Yeah.
little sections.
So we saw the animals, but I remember before the show, we saw something else that makes me get giddy, and that is the crew for BNL. Because once you see those particular folks that tour with them all the time, because they take really good care of their people.
Yeah.
And it's the same guys pretty much every time. And I recognize a lot of them from shows, and I'm not going to mention their names or anything like that, but I saw a couple of them at a restaurant. And remember, I'm hitting you, and we were
Oh
doing the
yeah, I
whole,
remember
I'm like hitting you in the arm, like,
that.
and I remember saying, "Oh my gosh, that means they're here, they're here." Oh, and I can remember trying to sneak into sound check. Do you remember that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
We were trying to find a way to get into sound check, but they were really, really protected there. Not that we would do that or anything, but I remember hearing them play, I think, Subway.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that.
oh my God, I just said the name of their song wrong. I'm really a great fan of bands. I just say names of songs. Oh, anyways. So, but anywho, yeah, well, the reason I called a subway car is because on the set list, they have it down as subway car.
Yeah.
So, anywho, but yeah, we ended up getting into the show and we got right to the front. I remember they had like metal seats with like a barricade, and there was probably a gap from the stage to the front larger than usual. I'd say what, like 4 or 5 feet.
Yeah, something like that.
And it had like a sand gravel pit, and this plays into a story later. And so I remember like being there and being ready, and I get really giddy, and I cannot help it. You know, I have to tell you all, I just get super excited to see my favorite bands. And, you know, I don't know, I just love that interaction between their fans for BNL. And, you know, I just get real giddy. So, of course, you know, Nicole had to hold me back and hold me down. And so they came out, and I have the set list here. I actually got a set list. So they played 17 songs that night. And, you know, they really talked about the roller coasters. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because you could see it from the background.
Oh, yeah. And I think the one was called Shikra.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I know that there is an ad lib about Shikra. I can't remember what the whole thing was about Shikra, but there was something about the roller coasters, the ones that let you dangle. And of course, you know, they ran with that joke.
Yeah.
You know, I like
Of
things
course they
that
would.
dangle.
Never fails.
So anyway, so I just remember the stage was really cool for the show because there was like bamboo behind it.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was really neat. It was a smaller stage, but big enough, you know, to feel like a real live big concert. But yeah, it was just, you know, the whole park is beautiful just because the intermix of the animals and the rides. And it's just like if you're a person that doesn't like big um, theme park rides, you can actually just enjoy yourself walking around. But the icing on the cake was seeing my favorite band play there. So that was
There
just
you go.
amazing.
It was a 3-for-1.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, there was barbecue.
Oh, barbecue. And if you like brews, there were brews. So,
Yes.
and there was also dudes.
Yes.
So anyway, so one thing I did think was awesome, and if you're not a BNL fan, you may not know this, but you know, of course, there's the song $1 Million, and in that song, they talk about if I had a monkey, you know the monkey part, and oh my God, I'm like floundering bad here. I'm like all these years of seeing them, you would think I'd know this all by heart, but anyway, haven't you always wanted a monkey is the line. So a lot of the fans do throw monkeys on the stage. So we're going to kind of fast forward through the concert here. And everything was wonderful. They sounded great. But, you know, I do get monkeys to throw on the stage, you know, at times. Sometimes I do. Sometimes it depends on our mood. We've had really good successes with getting them on the stage. But in this particular concert, I think we had purchased a monkey from the gift shop at Busch Gardens. And what happened to him?
He had an epic failure.
I think this is one of the shows where we go to throw this little lanky monkey that has long legs and long arms, And I think he went down into the gravel pit right in front of us between the stage and the barricade. And nobody would pick the monkey up. I think, didn't it was like the end of the show, somebody finally picked the monkey up, right?
I don't know. I don't remember now.
This is not the only time, though, I've had a monkey fail.
Well, you had an underwear fail, too.
Was that the same show?
I think so. I don't remember if that was the one where we went and found the biggest granny panties we could find.
And for all of you that are not BNL fans, there's a song named Pinch Me. And, you know, Ed says, I could hide out under there. I made you say underwear. And people throw panties and bras and stuff on the stage just because it makes us laugh. So, yeah. So I think
we got a, was it a zebra print?
That was one year we definitely did do that.
I couldn't remember if it was that one or not.
Oh yeah, because the guys, I think Kevin's put on underwear before. He's put on the bras. He's had the guys come over, Jim and Ed have come over and put bras on Kevin. So I mean, it's just a good time, right?
Yes, there you go.
So anyway, just I remember doing that, but I think the monkey did not. But here's the cool thing: I do have pictures from the show where a monkey that we had thrown the year before was still on the stage.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yes.
But yeah, and a lot of the fans know that sometimes the monkeys travel with the guys whenever you throw a monkey. Sometimes they end up kicking them off the stage and you're kind of like heartbroken, like, you just kicked my monkey.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes they do give them to kids, which I'm all for, like give them away to the kids.
Yeah.
But yeah. So pretty much, you know, the really cool thing about this show was something that Nicole and I did not experience. It was my husband. So my husband has been going to BNL shows since early 2000s, and he loves them as much as we love them. But of course, he's not active on social media and he's not active on the internet at all, which he's just one of those folks you're like, do you even have an email address? Which I guarantee he does, because I made him get one. So anyway, you know, he's kind of the opposite of us. He does not really like technology, except for streaming. He loves streaming everything, you know?
Yeah.
But Daniel loves the guys just as much as we do. And he is just rocking out. He knows a lot of their music. He knows a lot of their songs. And he was singing. And Jim, I think, just took notice of him rocking out. And he was kind of like sitting down, not sitting, but he was standing down further from us because we kind of went more towards the middle.
Yeah.
And he
was
kind of
on the opposite side.
Yeah. And I remember looking over and seeing Jim kind of dance his way over. For those that you may not know, Jim is the bassist of Barenaked Ladies. And he's just such a nice guy and so cool. And, you know, I think he really gets into it when people are really jamming out. And Daniel was there jamming out. And Jim did the coolest thing. As he's done many times, he put his bass down to Daniel and let Daniel play his bass. So, of course, we'll insert pictures here of that happening.
You can see on his face that it was like, oh no, what do I do?
And Daniel's like, I don't want to break his instruments. Like, I think Daniel was just real hesitant because he was afraid he's going to break a string or something. So, yeah, that was just so cool. I have some pictures of him smiling. It's really cool. But yeah. I mean, have you ever been to a show where a band has done something like that before?
The only time was when I went to see the Goo Goo Dolls when I was in high school with my mom. And the lead singer pointed out my mom because she was sitting there and didn't get up. So the girl next to me thought that he was trying to get her up on stage, but no, he was trying to get my mom to stand up and participate.
I thought you were gonna say he brought the guitar down, made her play guitar.
No. That's the only time I've noticed it with a band, kind of trying to get somebody to do something.
Aww. So it's very unique, of course. This will not be the first time we talk about Barenaked Ladies because, as I said, I can't even count the number of times I've gone to see them. But it's just amazing to me how interactive they are with their fans and their crowds. And of course, I'm going to talk them up because I love them so much. I mean, but for you, Nicole, coming into the situation where you were kind of drugged to some of these shows, do you notice a difference? I'm being honest. I mean, right? You're like,
I wasn't
okay.
necessarily, dragged along. It was, I liked their songs.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't, an unwilling participant.
But I mean, you do notice a difference between the way they interact with their fans and other bands, right? Is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole, it's not like a regular situation, where they go and, they do their songs and, they point out one or two, they kind of try to involve everybody. So.
Oh yeah. And they always tell really great like ad libs. They make up a song on the spot, about what their day was like in the place that they're playing. And, I think of them and I compare them to some people, which we'll talk about this at another time. Maybe this will be our next show. But I think of people like Alt J. And for those of you that don't know Alt J, they're an English band and they're relatively new. I mean, in the last 10 years, they've had their start and they stood still the entire show. All the shows.
Yeah, they don't move from their 3 spots.
They have a spot for the drummer, which obviously what's a drummer going to do? He can't really leave his drums. But they have platforms and they do not leave them. It's like they have a laser box around them on purpose to keep them in jail.
Yeah.
So, but here you have the B&L guys. You got Ed all over the stage. You got Jim all over the stage. You got Kevin all over the stage. And Tyler even comes out from the drums and does songs at the very end, usually.
He comes out flailing, yes.
Excuse
me? He comes out flailing.
Hi, Tyler.
What is it, alcohol?
I hope this is true, though. He did do that for alcohol. You are so right. Yes.
He kind of looked like I don't know a chicken with his head cut off.
Oh, God. He's just showing what happens when you drink too much alcohol.
Very true.
So there you go. But yeah, so Tyler does have, great voice. He comes out and sings at the end usually. If they let him.
When they let him out of his cage.
Exactly. So we have that, of course, at the end. And one cool thing about B&L, and we'll talk about this multiple times, this will not be the first time, but they usually do a mashup of very popular songs at the end of their shows. Mm-hmm. And they dance.
Yeah.
So it's just awesome. And they've been doing that for years. But here's the cool thing. Some of the songs that they sing at the very end, I know because of them, not because of the actual song being sung on the radio, because I don't listen to regular mainstream radio.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious to me because I'll hear their version of a song and I'm like, oh, I don't know that song. But then years later, I'll hear and I'm like, oh, that's what they were singing at the end. It's like, thank you for introducing me to mainstream pop.
There you go.
No, I've always had that happen, though. I'm like, oh, that's the song the B&L guys, B&Ls would sing at the end of that 2014 tour or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny to me. So, yeah, so wrapping this up, I mean, we, of course, had a great time. We got to see some B&L fans, and we had, a wonderful time with the atmosphere. I'm always a big proponent. Like, I'm all about, let's go to a concert at a theme park because it combines two of the things I love. I love theme parks and I love bands and I love seeing concerts. Yes. So some of the best concerts I've had with any band, some of the best have been around a theme park environment. Have you noticed that too?
Yeah, because you kind of have, multiple things that you can do,
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily just going there for the concert. You can go for multiple entertainment.
Yes. And you're not just stuck. Like you said, you're not just stuck in a hot field standing there all day. You have other things you can walk away and go do.
Yeah. So you get bored.
Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, it's fun. So anyway, one last thing we'll talk about real quick is that, they used to do in the B&L shows, sometimes they do it still, but they would pull together under one microphone or by one microphone, and they would do these really awesome, like acoustic versions of some of their tunes. And they've changed it up over the years, but in this particular show, I happened to see that they pulled out the banjo. And that's like one of my favorite things ever is hearing a banjo being played. But of course, when it's my favorite band or one of my favorite bands and they're pulling out the banjo, I'm like, banjo, banjo.
Yes, that's
It's like
very true.
it's like my love of mascots. I know Nicole knows this, but once I see a mascot, it just cracks me up. Like I get so excited to see mascots. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter what team they're for. I get really excited to see them. So I
Yes.
see a banjo, it's kind of like banjo, banjo. So they did, but yeah, so just the real quick rundown of the set list. I have it up here. They played according to B&L. This is what they had typed, and we'll put it up on the screen. Subway Car, Old Apartment, All Been Done, Falling, Get in Line, Boomerang, Easy, Chimps, which just cracks me up because that's another postcard. Raisins, Blame It, Too Little, Too Late. And then this is my favorite, Brain. And it's really Brian Wilson, but they put Brain. Pinch Me, Big Bang, 1 Week, Million, and Light Up My Room. So they ended up with Light Up My Room, which is a beautiful song. So that was their encore.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great show. And like I said, it was just great being around B&L fans. It was great being with Nicole and my husband and the really cool things that happened with the theme park. Just overall, just a wonderful show. And it was a good way to wrap up the weekend. And just, I love Florida and I know you do too. It's just, if I can see my favorite bands in Florida and go to my theme parks, it's just always a joy. So
Especially in the wintertime.
exactly. Well, here's the thing, when you go down there in January, February, lower crowds,
Yeah.
except for President's Day weekend, which this was President's Day weekend. But lower crowds, cooler weather, and the humidity's not that bad.
No, it wasn't.
So if it could be like that all year round, it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, it would be.
If it were like
That
July,
heat's
oh
the
yeah,
worst part.
oh yeah, if it were July or August, I'd be
Ugh.
like, I don't know about this. I'd be
No,
like,
thank you.
let me sit in my air conditioned car until the show.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not standing in the line of that.
No. But Nicole and I have done that many times. Everybody, we've done that many times here in North Carolina because people think that North Carolina is a lot cooler than Florida, and it's pretty much not. Like,
No, it's kind of the same.
it's I mean, we have a little bit less humidity like in the fall and the spring than that
Yeah.
Florida does. But my gosh, I mean, we've been through some zingers of like we talked about with our alt. Oh my gosh, I almost said alt J. Our AJ. Too many A names.
Yes.
With our A alt. Oh my god, I just said it again.
AJR. There you go.
AJR. There you go. Bah. Those poor guys. I have just not gotten anything right with them.
No, I said it wrong too. I said AGR.
Those poor guys. So yeah, that was like one of the hottest cons. We talked about that our first episode about hot concerts versus. But we actually had sweaters on at this Florida show in February, so
Yeah,
you knew
it was cold. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being cold. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, we could go into a lot of detail about B&L, a lot more than what we did. But just to be honest, like it was a great show. They sounded great. I mean, it was a large crowd. It was probably oh, I don't know. I'd estimate a couple thousand people, if not more.
It was probably like, I don't know, a quarter of a football field, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, a lot of people. And we were all, of course, back pre-COVID days, scrunched together.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And once I think we had people trying to get up to the front with us too. I remember that.
Yeah, you always do.
Yeah, because we had everything. Remember, we put our blankets, not our blankets, but like our coats, and our bags and stuff down. And then, of course, people try to scoot in, push your stuff aside. You're like, hey, yo, yet again. Yeah, yet again. I don't think so.
Nope.
So we're real territorial if it comes to if I've waited more than an hour for my spot, then I'm so sorry. I'm gonna really put up like a little attitude if you kind of get in our faces.
Exactly.
Yep. All right. So we're gonna wrap that up for this week. And like I said, we had a lot of fun at our B&L show and it was a great time. And like I was saying, there's a lot of YouTube videos of this show. And there's also a lot of pictures that Nicole will so wonderfully put together for a YouTube video. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And hopefully we'll see you all soon.
All right. We'll see you around the old barricade.
Oh, yeah. And hopefully this time we get stuff thrown over the barricade if we're allowed to throw at the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then hopefully may all your barricades not be as stinky as that show we talked about from this weekend.
Yes.
All right. Well, you all have a great day. And everybody, thank you so much for listening. And again, we're Concert Stories on everything out there on social media, except for Instagram. We're Concert Stories Podcast.
Yes.
So you all take care and have a good day.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.